What I saw at the press conference was a guy who actually, I felt as if he actually had a bit of weight lifted off his shoulders, because he's had conversations in the last 48 hours since Celtic Park with Andrew Kavanagh and the owners, and they've made it clear that they want him to lead the team again at the start of next season. So I thought he was actually, as much as being bullish, he was pretty relaxed and pretty excited and ready to go again next season. We're not even finished this season yet, but that was very much the message coming across, that he'd been reassured in his position basically, and he sounded pretty hungry to get going again and put things right.
You'd said the other night, Keith, on Hotline Live, that you had a gut feeling he might not be there on the first day of next season. Sounds like he's been given assurances he will.
It does sound like that.
Okay.
But listen, Keir Starmer's got 100 assurances from Labour MPs. There's about 85 of them or whatever that have written letters.
And I would say as well,
85 Rangers fans have written into us over the last 5 minutes saying Danny Rohl has to go.
85 has been modest, but I know they don't mean anything anymore, but those last 2 games as well, Hibs tomorrow night in Falkirk, I do think they kind of have to go well for them, don't they? Like, they have to show something.
Well, it's the season's all season bust now anyway, so... But, yeah, I mean, you don't want to turn the 3-game losing streak into a 5-game losing streak.
Exactly.
Well, I'm not sure that Danny Rohl's out of the woods just yet. I think they've obviously been having conversations. I think Scott's absolutely right. And, you could see that in his body language and the way he was a lot more strong about himself than he had been in previous press conference when he clearly looked like a man that was feeling a bit of the strain.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I believe there is a bit of interest in Germany in Danny Rohl, whether it's Wolfsburg, whether it's Leverkusen's the latest one.
One of the comments right now seemed by a Leverkusen now.
So I think that this is something that will need monitoring. Now, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm completely wrong. Maybe Andrew Kavanagh sat down with him. He said it was more than Andrew Kavanagh, so there's a good management structure in there. People are clearly putting an arm around him. Maybe he's been given the assurances. Maybe he does go again next season. I think from a Rangers perspective, Scott kind of touched on this the other night. That might become problematic if he's lost the groundswell of goodwill and support amongst the core of the Rangers fans, and if he starts next season by dropping a couple of points here or there, or not getting off to an absolute flyer, then Rangers, it's rinse and repeat. They end up back the same old cycle. So I think while this summer remains live, if there are options in Germany, I said it might be an elegant exit strategy for all parties if something like that was to come up. I'll be surprised if Rangers aren't at least considering what options might be available at this minute in time. So I don't think, as much as he's feeling a bit better about himself, clearly, I'm still not entirely sure that he'll be in charge for the first game of next season, but for potentially a variety of different reasons.
And anyone that's played Football Manager will know that the famous vote of confidence...
It's never a good sign.
It's never a good sign. Joe there says the famous vote of confidence. Marzuno says, no manager ever gets sacked after a vote of confidence from the board. Your loyal Muppet says, Danny did a great getting us within touching distance of the league. With the deadwood we have, he brought in only 3 new players, which are good additions, so we need to give him time to build the rest of the squad. Do you agree with that, Scott? Do you think there's a body of evidence there that says, look, Danny Rohl deserves to go again this summer and next season?
I'm not sure about a body of evidence, Daniel. I mean, ultimately, he came in when they were 13 points behind. What are they, 8 behind now? No, could finish up something like that. So maybe only clawed back 5 points. So I don't know about a body of evidence, but I do think with any manager, to come in and give him one transfer window, or to put him into a job where he is 13 points behind and completely being ruled out of a title race, to only give him one window and then to get rid of him in the summer, I must admit, I mean, I do think it'd be pretty harsh. I think he probably deserves another crack at it, another window. But as Keith touched on there, that is the risk, that is the danger for the Rangers board, that they invest again, they get the players in that he wants, and they get off to a bad start next season, because as I've said on here many times in the last couple of weeks, you cannot underestimate how damaging these 3 defeats in a row have been. Not just in terms of the title race, but in terms of the fans' view on Danny Rohl and how they're assessing his performance. I just think it puts him, and he'll know this. He's no daft, but it puts him under major pressure getting into the start of next season. I mean, it's fine the board saying now, no, we've got confidence in you. You're the man. You'll be in the dugout first game of the season. But I'm telling you, opening day, you get beat 1-0 off Kilmarnock. The new season, and Celtic and Hearts win their first game. You're under major pressure right for the off again. So that's the danger for the board. But no, listen, I do think he deserves another window, another crack at the start of next season.
I think he only deserves it if the people that are making the decisions have satisfied themselves completely that they believe he's the right man for the job.
Yeah,
you don't deserve another shot just because I've only had one window. You earn the right for another shot at it. It might well be that Danny Rohl has earned that in the eyes of the guys that will ultimately decide his future. That might very well be the case. I would, if I was them, I would still have major reservations. Look, this isn't speaking in retrospect. I said at the time of his appointment, I didn't feel that he had the experience required for the position. And I think that what you saw, or what we've seen towards the end of the season, or certainly the post-split fixtures, was an indication that this is a young guy, aspiring, ambitious, no doubt about it, probably talented. But I think he lacked the experience, the know-how, the nous, whatever you want to call it, when push really came to shove in this campaign. And I think Rangers have paid a really heavy price for that. If you wanted to give him another chance, or you think he'd earned another chance, then what you would have to say is he's probably learnt more in these first 6 months at Rangers than he would have done at any point in his career.
Aye.
It's certainly a lot more than he would have learnt at 18 months at Sheffield Wednesday. I keep
Jack,
coming back to it.
I agree. I agree with you in the sense that they must see something in him. Now, whether that's the period, the winning run that he had almost immediately when he came in to get him back in the title race, maybe it's scored a lot of goals. Rangers recently, unfortunately for them, have conceded a lot as well. They must see something in him that they want to stick with him. What I would say is, and you've touched on it there, in terms of his lack of experience. I mean, one of the major takeaways for the press conference the day was Danny Rohl being absolutely adamant that not only does he think that this squad badly needs leaders and a new leadership group in it, but he was also adamant that the board see that as well. And it's almost like they've recognised, right, he's doing what he can, but that squad needs new characters in it, new personalities in it to go and lead this, a proper title challenge next season. And obviously we know James Tavernier's going. We mentioned earlier the prospect of Raskin going, who's also in the leadership group. I would suggest Jack Butland's Rangers' future has a bit of doubt around it as well at the moment. These are all guys that are key parts of that dressing room, and by the sounds of it today, Danny Rohl wants to revamp that in the summer. And I've actually changed my mind, because a few weeks ago or a couple of months ago, we were talking about the kind of what they would do in the summer, and I thought at that time Rangers wouldn't need to kind of rip it up and start again. I thought it was maybe just 3 or 4 new players coming in, maybe 1 or 2 getting out. That was when they were ticking along quite nicely, getting back in the title race. Obviously, what we've seen the last few weeks, the total collapse in the Premiership, I think that's probably changed my view, and I think there is more needed done in the summer. And at least for the Rangers fans, because it's what they've been crying out for recently, at least listening to Danny Rohl today, he recognises as well that need for a new leadership group in that dressing room, because clearly, and we bang on about it all the time, mentality, and Danny Rohl's been reluctant to talk about it in the last a couple of months for obvious reasons, but there's clearly an issue with the lack of winning mentality, the lack of character in that dressing room to get over the line and win trophies, and that's what he's got to rectify, or he's got to try and rectify along with the recruitment team in the summer.
Well, in that case, maybe there's an acceptance on behalf of the board that they've shoved him out into a gunfight with a water pistol.